Hello and welcome to the Patreon channel of True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. We're now at episode 42 in the hashtag 2 years ago today CW series dealing with August 11th. August 11th was a Saturday. It was the second day that Watts was on his own. Shanann, of course, was in Arizona attending a Thrive promotional training event. She was with Cassie and Nicole Atkinson and a lot of the other Thrivers. And the phone data review for this particular day is around about 2 pages, around about just over 2 pages. Before we start with the review, I want you to think about the broad context that we're dealing with. And the context is Shanann has been considering whether Watts is having an affair. She's talked about it with her friends. She's kind of considered it and checked his phone and done a little bit of, I guess, research, done a little bit of thinking, and then what? Well, what has happened is he's sort of come round. He's agreed to couples counseling. It seems like he still wants the baby. They're going to go on a romantic trip together. The gender reveal is still on. It's just been moved. But everyone must keep it a secret. I'm not sure if you realize this, but even his family and her family didn't know the gender of the child at this point. So a couple of her friends knew about, the name Nico Lee Watts and so on, but even her family didn't know about this. Even his family didn't know about this. At this point, they were sort of keeping it a secret. And it's within this context that she goes away to Arizona. And now the question is, how long is it going to take Shanann to know, kind of in inverted commas, that he is having an affair? Now what I'm saying is she's reassured to some extent by what has happened on the 9th that she feels that she can go on this trip. But she's already aware, she's already a bit suspicious that he might be having an affair. Then to some extent she deals with it because he reassures her, because he manipulates her. But now she's away from him. It's August 11th. And the question is she going to realize on the 11th that he's having an affair? And I think a very interesting question, just in the same way that the doll image and the circumstances around that are quite ambiguous. The credit card alert is as well. Did Watts want his wife to know that he was having an affair? Because it seems like a really clumsy thing to do at this stage. Did he want her to almost, how can I put it, say to her friends, well, I'm going to have to get a divorce, or something like that? Was that his crazy way of sort of having her maybe send him messages on the Sunday to say, okay, what is going on? Let's get a divorce. I don't think so. I would tend to think that that was an error he made, and an error because he'd run out of Anadarko gift cards and he'd run out of money. He had very little money. He couldn't use certain credit cards, and so he used the one that he could, where there was a little bit of money on it. But what I'm saying is that at this point Shanann is suspicious that he might be having an affair, and he is having an affair. And so when he goes out that night, do you think Shanann is in any doubt after that? And that is what makes August 12th such an interesting day, is you've got to sort of ask yourself, are you telling me Shanann doesn't know at this point that he's having an affair? So that is what I want you to keep in the back of your mind. And now let's start with the phone data review for August 11th. It kicks off at 0702. Shanann sends a message to Watts. And it's kind of like, it feels a bit like a Thrive spiel. She says, "Good morning, baby, exclamation, are the girls up?" Watts replies, "Good morning. They are watching cartoons in bed." And then Shanann describes the thunderstorms the night before in Arizona. So even the weather where she is seems to be trying to talk to her. Even the ether is electric and disturbed and restless. And there's rumbling, outside her hotel. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that preview. I'll put a link in the description for all the full-length episodes from 25 to 40, so the last 15. All the links that you can either watch the full episodes, and in a couple of cases you can just listen to the audio. And that is on Patreon on the $1 tier. If you want to listen to the full 1 hour episode of number 42 on the 11th of August, it is quite an interesting episode dealing with when Watts called a babysitter for the very first time, how he dealt with that, when he left, what the babysitter said about Bella, and how she tried to get the kids into bed that night, and then also Watts kind of getting into trouble that night. Bear in mind he came home quite late. Shanann got kind of a credit card alert, and she said something really important in the very last line, the very last entry in the phone data review. So if you listen to this episode, you will get a very good context going into the very last day before the tragic events of the 13th of August 2 years ago. For those interested in the Lori Vallow case, as soon as the 2 years ago today series sort of reaches completion, I'm going to be covering the Lori Vallow case on YouTube, and I'm going to be looking at some of the witnesses in the preliminary hearing. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.